Joining us now, a man who is beginning his second season as the general manager of the Denver Broncos. He is George Paton. George, welcome to the program. How's it going?
Thanks for having me, Mike. I've a lot of years, and first time on the show. Pretty excited.
Well, and I appreciate it very much. And this last year for you had to have flown by. I'm amazed how we're already into year 2 of the Paton regime. I still think of you as a new GM. How fast did it go by for you?
It flew by. You know, obviously when you get a job and you're just trying to learn the staff and learn the building and get through free agency, get through the draft, and things just come at you from every direction. But, it was a fun year, challenging year, but, I'm excited for where we are and where we're going.
Give me the biggest thing you learned in the first year that you wish you'd known last year.
Well, just and I knew this from Rick Spielman. You know, he told me that you'll be doing a lot more non-football stuff. And so that's the things you have to manage, when you have this job is because every day there's something. And you just have to be disciplined and shut your door every now and then and watch tape and do what, why they hired you.
We didn't get a chance to talk about it last year after you took the job, but I'm curious because you had so many opportunities over the years to become a GM here or there or wherever, and it never was the right time for you. What made Denver last year the right time and the right place for you to become a GM?
Yeah, just after meeting with John and Joe Ellis, it was just seemed like the right fit. Obviously it's always been one of the top organizations in the NFL. Myself, growing up in Los Angeles, I knew a lot about the organization and all the winning and the tradition, and then just sitting down with them, the fan base, and then I thought they had some foundation in place on offense and defense where we could hopefully turn this thing quickly.
I want to get to the quarterback position. Obviously, in the division that your team occupies, it's critical to have a great quarterback. And we're obviously not going to get into the names of any veteran players because that's not prohibited at this current juncture of the calendar. But on a scale of 1 to 10, George, how big of a priority is the quarterback position for you this offseason?
Yeah, I think it has to be a 10 for every team that doesn't have that guy, that franchise guy. We like Drew Luck. We like what Teddy did last year, but we're always looking, so I think it's a 10. Everyone needs that type of quarterback to get to where they need to go, and we're no different.
Give me the top 2 or 3 characteristics you look for in a quarterback who hopefully becomes a franchise guy.
Yeah, it's you could talk about this for a while. I think number one is toughness. It's a tough position. You're taking a lot of hits. I think it's the toughest position in sports. Obviously, you want the mental capability. They have to process so much at quarterback. And then, third would be accuracy. Just to deliver the ball on time to the right target and deliver it accurately. So those would be 3. We could discuss it for a while, but.
And as it relates to the purpose that you're in Indianapolis, looking at the quarterbacks and other players who are entering the draft, how difficult is it to take what a guy's done at the college level at the quarterback position and project it to success or not in the NFL?
Yeah, it's really hard. You see, I don't know what the stats are, but it's probably 50-50 that guys hit, when you take them in the first round. And so you got to dig into so many different things. And you're trying to do this, over the course of the fall and the off season and really get to know these guys. And, 1, are they, do they love ball? 2, are they smart enough to run what you're doing? And then, I mentioned the toughness, and then, just are they talented enough? So there's a lot that goes into it. I think a lot depends on where they go as well. Are they positioned to, put enough around them where they can have some early success? So it's probably the hardest thing we can do, when you're sitting in my seat.
What's your pitch to a veteran, if a veteran becomes available to you, regardless of who it may be? Your pitch to that guy to come to Denver and be part of a team that quarterback can make as successful as it possibly can be?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of weapons, on offense. I think we have 3 or 4 receivers that are really talented, and they're only going to get better. We have 2 really talented tight ends. We have, Javonte Williams is a runner, so I think the weapons are there. The offensive line, we need to add, 1. We need to get a tackle. But then our defense, I think, they were second or third in points allowed during the season and or during last season. So I think we have a lot going for us, in regards to the weapons we have on offense, and then our defense, coming back and sustaining what they did last year.
You're in an unusual spot where the Broncos don't currently have an owner who is day-to-day running the team. How has that affected your job so far, and how do you anticipate the arrival of an owner changing your job in the future?
It hasn't impacted my job at all. Joe Ellis has done a great job of showing leadership since I've been here, and we just have to take care of what we do, and we really can't worry about things we can't control. I think everyone's kind of excited to get a new owner and see who that is, but it doesn't affect how we go about our day-to-day, or how we're going to draft, how we're going to sign free agents, or what have you.
What are you most proud of based on your first year with the team?
I don't know if proud. I'm just excited how the guys played hard, and we were down, week 7, our 17th game against Kansas City. I'm just proud of the way the guys fought. Went through a lot like all teams with COVID. Obviously Vic and his coaches are fighting, but it was just, I really appreciated the way the guys fought towards the end, even though when we're out of it. And that's the type of players we're going to continue to try to bring in here.
And give me one thing, if there is one thing, maybe there's more than one thing, that you'd look back at last year and say, boy, I wish I could do that over again.
Well, I'm sure there's a draft pick or two that, I wish we could, reconsider, or maybe a free agent signing. I really don't want to mention them because I have to deal with these players. But, really, I don't regret anything we've done. I think we've kind of stayed the course. We had a plan in place. I think we have a lot of foundations in place to take that next step. And I liked most of the decisions we've made. Now, no one hits 100%, but, I thought we did a really nice job with the first year. I think the buildings come together. My staff, the scouting staff, I didn't know any of them when I got there. And so just the cohesion we have, the synergy we have as a staff and within our building, that's another thing that I'm really proud of.
I mentioned earlier you're in a division with 3 great quarterbacks, obviously Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Derek Carr. How much of your roster construction is driven by knowing that you're dealing with those teams twice a year, every year?
Yeah, it's always there. We need to play better in our division. We obviously have 3 really good coaches in our division, and we need to pressure those quarterbacks, and we need to cover. And so you're always thinking about that, our division, where we stand. We haven't won many division games, and we haven't won many home games. So we need to really improve on that. But no, you're always looking, at the teams at the top, and how are you going to get there.
Where do you stand on the possibility of the overtime rule changing, specifically in the postseason?
Mike, I haven't really thought about that too much, but I kind of like the way it is now. But again, I haven't really looked into it. I haven't read much on it. Been busy hiring coaches and trying to catch up on this draft and free agency stuff.
What's your main objective between now and the start of week 1, beyond the quarterback position?
Yeah, we just need to really improve on the positions of need and really improve our depth. And we're fortunate we have 11 draft picks. We have a lot of cap room. We have 5 of our draft picks in the top 3 rounds. So I think we can really make some hay at the top, and then, just keep improving our depth. I think we made a lot of strides in that last year, but, you can never have enough depth, and so that's what we're really focused on. Obviously, our offense needs to take the next step. We haven't been very good on offense, in 5 or 6 years, and that needs to improve. Defensively, we need to sustain. We don't want to take a step back, but we really need to fix the offense.
Well, George, it's great to finally talk to you. It's an organization with a proud history and I think a bright future, especially given that it's in your hands, and we hope to talk to you again down the road real soon.
It's been great, Mike. Really good talking to you. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.